Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of our Experts of the Americas series. I'm Valentina Sader, Deputy Director here at the Adrian Aris Latin America Center where I lead our Brazil work, and I am delighted to be welcoming today to the Atlantic Council Fernando Goldsztein, a Brazilian entrepreneur who at one of the most difficult times of his life was inspired to establish the Medulloblastoma Initiative, an innovative, collaborative model for using private philanthropy to jumpstart new clinical research for the most common form of childhood brain cancer. Fernando, it's so great to have you here at the Atlantic Council today. Thank you so much for joining us and for agreeing to share your story with us. Your story and that of your sons, Frederico, is extraordinary. Can you tell us about your journey from your home in Brazil to today, and what is the MBI?
Well, first of all, Valentina, thank you for having me. Thank you, the Atlantic Council, for giving us the opportunity. And yes, it has been a very difficult journey since my son. I mean, having a son with a brain tumor, I think it is one of the worst things that can happen to a father or a mother. So it happened 8 years ago. And then we treated him here in the US. And about 3 years ago, his tumor relapsed. And this disease that he has, it's called medulloblastoma. When the tumor relapses, there is no cure. So there is nothing sadder to a parent to hear from a doctor that your son has no cure, that medicine has nothing to offer. So I didn't accept the situation, and I asked myself, can we give hope to children with deadly brain tumors? And that was the moment when I created the Medulloblastoma Initiative 3 years ago, and here we are.
That is inspiring, to say the least. I've been so intrigued to hear about MBI's model of fostering collaboration across its participating labs versus competing for funds and results. Why don't more labs do this? And how could we better scale out this model for other research initiatives? What are the greatest hurdles? We were just talking before this interview about how MBI can actually be a model to foster and ignite this kind of initiative in other areas of medicine as well. But what are some of the biggest challenges that we see?
Yeah, I think when I faced the situation 3 years ago that we didn't have any option to treat our son, then I start talking with Dr. Roger Packer, which is one of the most renowned scientists in the world in this field, from Washington, from Children's National Hospital, and we start talking about what could be done. Then maybe you cannot believe, or the audience would not believe, but medicine and technology have been evolved a lot in the last decades. But unfortunately, not for kids with brain tumors, because the treatment that the kids do for medulloblastoma, the treatment was created back in the 80s. So the treatment is not effective enough, so we lose lots of kids, and the treatment is very toxic. So the kids most of the kids have long life side effects from the treatment. So the challenge was how can we create a new treatment? How can we invent a new treatment and make science move? So Dr. Packer had a very great idea that he brought together many labs. Today we are 13 labs, 10 from the US, 2 from Canada, and 1 from Germany. And in these labs, they reunite the best scientists in the world in this field. And this lab, and that is key. These labs, they are working together and synergetically to find a cure, so they are not competing. So each lab has a piece of the puzzle, and they are working together. So that's why we were able to go to fast track, and in 2 years and a half, we already submitted 2 clinical trials to the FDA. So this is a kind of a blueprint that we created. Let's put this way, by a family and a very important doctor that could make this happen, and maybe that could be a blueprint for other diseases, for other initiatives to tackle other diseases.
It's a true collaborative effort, and it's very
Yes.
impressive what you were able to achieve in such a short period of time also. You raised a great deal of attention in Brazil, where you're from, where I'm from,
Yes.
and now are looking to raise awareness and resources here in the United States as well. This year, in 2024, we celebrate the bicentennial of U.S.-Brazil diplomatic relations, and there's so much opportunity for even greater cooperation on fields such as research and innovation and medicine. How can these two nations collaborate to help find solutions and paths forward so that future children have better opportunities? And you mentioned your initiative is a clear example of some of these initiatives and these approaches. But can you think of anything that we could be? How can we foster this cooperation between our two countries?
Yeah, in our particular case, we are funding these labs in these countries that I mentioned to you, because these countries, these labs were chosen because they were more advanced in researching of medulloblastoma. So they were not chosen by chance. They were chosen because each lab has exactly something that Dr. Packer needed to add in this puzzle. So one thing that we are planning to do, we have a commitment to do, is to bring the clinical trials to Brazil firsthand after we have approved here in the U.S. Of course, it depends on logistical and regulatory issues, but I think that there is a big field to collaborate, for collaboration between the countries, for sure.
Of course, this is also, we were just talking about this too, of how this should be a matter of interest to everyone around the world and every country in the world. Yes. With that in mind, I wanted to close and wrap up by asking you what you see as the promise of tomorrow for children like Frederico, and what can we all do, our listeners, you, me, and the Atlantic Council as an organization, to help you and the MBI to actually find the cure for this disease?
Yeah, that's a very important question, Valentina. I think it's all about hope. I'm used to say that we hope for the cure. We hope to serve as an example for other initiatives like ours. We hope to influence governments to spend more money on research, especially on kids. Pediatric cancer, they have a lack of research, and we hope to persuade donors to fund good research projects, not only MBI, there are many projects, good projects out there. And as a final message, I would say that we are very pleased about our achievements. So in 2 years and a half, we submitted 2 clinical trials to the FDA, as already mentioned to you. But we know that we have a long way ahead of us. So we still need support, we still need help, and we were able to raise a significant amount of money in Brazil. And I think this is another important message, that we brought money from Brazil to the US to research, which means that there is a lack of research for pediatric brain tumors in the US. So we hope at the end of the day to cure these kids and to save their lives.
We will do just that. With that, I would like to encourage everyone to check out the work of the Medulloblastoma Initiative in advancing new research towards the cure of the most common form of childhood brain cancer. Fernando, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you next time.